I told you just 2 days ago that coronavirus is continuing to ravage, in particular, some parts of the country. But meanwhile, confusingly, the country is opening more and more, particularly the parts of the country that are having the case and death problems. We have a planned Tulsa, Oklahoma Trump rally with thousands of people on Saturday. Dr. Anthony Fauci has already recommended against going to such a rally. Rallygoers, in fact, have to sign a waiver for coronavirus contagion if they want tickets to this Donald Trump rally. But we now have several more days of data. And the coronavirus pandemic in some particular states is spiking so quickly, and so aggressively that the numbers almost seem fake, but they are not fake. And what I mean is when you look at these case graphs that I'm going to show you, we are more than 3 months into this pandemic. It's hard to believe that some states are managing the pandemic so poorly that we are now getting these spikes. Like these states are nowhere near the peaks that some states reached in early to mid April. Looking at Texas, for example, I already told you days ago that cases were spiking in Texas. That was nothing compared to what we are now seeing. A record 4,000 cases in one day in Texas yesterday. These are unconscionable numbers. Sticking with this part of the country, Arizona is quickly becoming the hotspot in terms of case growth rate in the United States, also with a record 2,400 cases yesterday. When you look at these charts, they're downright dystopian. Spoke to a friend in Arizona again. Everybody's just acting like nothing's going on, he says. Stores are open, people packed together, nobody's wearing masks, just like almost no mitigation going on at all. Florida, very similar curve. Have a lot of friends in Florida, very worried. And again, yesterday, the worst day in Florida since all of this started. Also, thousands of new cases. So I really need people to understand the context here. We're months into this. White House coronavirus task force in place for months. Mitigation, testing, PPE, stay at home orders, wear masks indoor, months and months and months. And yesterday was the worst day since the start of this in Texas, Florida, and Arizona. Now, it's not just red states. As I've mentioned, California, which was an early hotspot, is still having problems. They've not exactly flattened the curve, but even the growth rates in California are not the erratic numbers that we are seeing in some other places. Now, meanwhile, I continue to be really glad that things are going well in some places. I'm not saying this to brag. It's just luck that, I mean, I guess it's not luck. I live in Massachusetts. Obviously, partially I live here because my family moved here. Partially I live in Massachusetts because I prefer the politics of Massachusetts to those of some of these other states. The case curve here just falling off a cliff if you're watching. Connecticut doing really well. Lots of states are doing very well. And we'll see as they start to open whether that changes. So the point here is mitigation works. The cases and the deaths respond to what people are actually doing. The weather does not seem to be stopping the spread in warmer states and as the summer comes. And the Trump administration is just pretending that it's over. Things are actually so bad right now in some states that this conversation about wave two is essentially irrelevant in the sense that there's not going to be a dip. It seems as though, we had this idea wave one would be dying off by late April, early May. We might have almost no new cases by June 1st. There were models that said by June 1, there will be almost no new cases. We've got 20,000 new cases a day. In some of these states, there won't be a wave two because wave one will never end. Wave two was supposed to start, maybe September, mid-September. We're now looking at least in some states that have not even hit their peaks, just a continued sustained pandemic through the end of the year if nothing changes. The way Texas is looking, Florida, Arizona, it's very difficult to imagine with cases spiking to where they are now, that there actually will be a dip that we could call a pause between waves. We could just have a 6 or 8 or 9 month wave until hopefully there is an effective treatment and a vaccine. And half the country seems to be pretending that everything is fine. Now, in terms of, what's safe in different places, I posted a picture of myself in Massachusetts over the weekend, sitting outdoors at a cafe. it felt safe given the numbers here. We're down to only, 100. We had only 58 new cases a couple days ago, about 150 a day, under 200 people now left in the ICU in the entire state. I ordered online. I grabbed my coffee and bagel, didn't, interact with anybody, sat outside at a table, nobody around me. When I leave, I flip a piece of paper on the table that goes from green to red so other people know not to sit there. Wait staff come over and clean it. It seems safe. I mean, the outdoor contagion is primarily when people are doing obviously stupid things, crowding together at at a hiking trail or something like that. It seems like that is relatively safe. What we're seeing in other states where it's indoors, no masks, people on top of each other, of course that's going to lead to spread. So, we talk about the 80-20 rule. We talk about 80% of people are incompetent at whatever they're doing. Most of the rules about even outdoors, you should look at wearing a mask. We only need to be doing that because of the small portion of people that are just doing stupid things unless you tell them wear a mask outdoors. And that is something that we can't ignore when we look at state leadership on down. That's a big part of why some of these states are having such major problems.